Many relationships in our society are based on the concept of submission. Even when individuals hold equal positions, they tend to adhere to societal norms and expectations in their interactions, expecting reciprocity from their counterparts. But what drives people to comply with requests and conform to rules? What forms of power exist, and how does an imbalance of power affect behavior? Let's delve into these questions in this video. If you enjoy our psychology content, consider subscribing to our channel and sharing it with your friends. In psychology, the concept of submission lacks a clear definition. Some authors equate it with obedience, often associating it with certain personality traits. Consequently, researchers identify various forms of submission, such as outward compliance and internal conformity, suggestibility, and the internalization of social norms and ideals. However, this perspective fails to recognize submission as a unique relationship with rules and norms that can be used for self-discipline and self-regulation. From a different perspective, submission plays a significant role in shaping individuals from childhood. Clear and reasonable rules provide a sense of stability for a child's psyche, representing safety. Conversely, complete freedom, especially in critical situations, can lead to extreme stress for a child who has yet to develop their own perspectives and decision-making skills. As we mature, we assume multiple social roles, each with its own implicit rules of behavior. For example, our first role beyond the family is often as a student, requiring us to listen to teachers, follow schedules, and complete assignments. Adhering to these rules contributes to academic success and boosts self-esteem. Throughout life, we accumulate various social roles: friend, team member, romantic partner, employee, job seeker, and more. Each new life situation requires us to adopt a specific social role, and our ability to fulfill that role influences our success. Psychologist Stanley Milgram's experiments demonstrate that individuals are often willing to perform actions that contradict their values when following the rules associated with their social roles. Certain social roles involve not submission, but rather the management of others. Interestingly, individuals can have contrasting attitudes toward these roles. Some find the role of a leader daunting and actively avoid any form of power, often due to a fear of responsibility and the complexities of managing conflicts. On the other hand, there are those who are not intimidated by power and are even drawn to it, sometimes leading to a compulsive and obsessive pursuit of power. Let's explore why these dynamics occur. Psychoanalyst Karen Horney distinguished between two drives for power: normative and neurotic. The normative drive is typically fueled by noble intentions, such as improving work processes, effecting qualitative changes, and tackling ambitious tasks. In contrast, the neurotic drive often originates from attempts to compensate for feelings of inferiority stemming from physical flaws, self-loathing, anxiety, or illness. Alfred Adler, another psychologist, posited that some individuals seek to compensate for feelings of inferiority through sexuality, but he also emphasized power as a means to bolster and compensate for one's self-esteem. The sense of being a whole and competent individual is often established during adolescence. This stage involves a complex process of separating and asserting emotional independence from parents, often manifesting as rebellion in behavior and emotions. However, if this process is disrupted by authoritarian parenting, the deep-seated feeling of inferiority can resurface later in life. When the process of separation and rebellion is obstructed, and adolescent rebellion is suppressed by authoritarian parenting, this can lead to a profound sense of inferiority. Later in life, this suppressed rebellion and the drive for self-assertion may manifest in unpredictable and sometimes pathological forms of obsessive control over others. At times, the neurotic pursuit of power can be rooted in a profound fear of loneliness, as described by Erich Fromm in his theory of power. Fromm suggested that this fear drives individuals to seek leadership roles and engage in persuasive speech, masking a sadistic impulse to control others. Such individuals may reduce others to mere functions, manipulating them to serve their own interests and exerting control, which is one of the most potent forms of manipulation in human interactions. While often subtle, manipulation is a fundamental aspect of human communication, evident in various contexts, from casual conversations to the imposition of societal values. In everyday language, the terms power, influence, and authority are often used interchangeably, but social and organizational psychology makes clear distinctions among them. Let's begin by defining power. It refers to the collection of resources that enable individuals to influence the behavior of others. Possessing power means having the capacity to compel, coerce, or persuade others to think or act in specific ways. Influence, on the other hand, pertains to the relationships that allow one person to influence another's behavior to a certain extent. To effectively influence the behavior of others, one must have power. Authority, then, is the right to wield power to control the behavior of individuals or groups. But what grants someone authority? Three main types of authority are recognized. The first is resource power, where an individual possesses significantly more resources than another, giving their influence greater weight. These resources could include money, equipment, or other material valuables. The second is position power, also known as formal authority, which goes beyond the official authorization to manage others. It encompasses the rules of interaction dictated by social roles, and often, the authority of a position extends beyond formal relationships. The third type is personal power, which is exhibited by many historical leaders who possessed qualities admired by others. Individuals with personal power can persuade those who admire them to align with their mindset and views. The fourth type is expert power, which is more attainable for someone who is widely recognized as an expert in a particular field. However, in practice, power rarely originates from a single source. Instead, multiple sources of power are typically at play to varying degrees. Nearly everyone has encountered examples that seem to confirm the idea that power corrupts, and research has indeed shown the influence of power on personal psychology. First, individuals in positions of power often disregard common norms. For instance, in an experiment conducted by Adam Galinsky, participants with power were more likely to turn off an annoying fan compared to ordinary participants. While most people struggle with internal prohibitions such as cheating, individuals who feel powerful are more inclined to violate such prohibitions to serve their interests. Second, power amplifies egocentrism, leading individuals to prioritize their own needs over others. Those earning under $25,000 annually, on average, donate around 4.2% of their income to charity, while those earning over $150,000 give just 2.7%. In a recent experiment at Columbia University, participants were assigned either subordinate or boss roles. Before a game, each participant was asked to assemble a bundle of candies and decide whether to keep it for themselves or give it to another participant. The results showed that bosses tended to keep more candies for themselves, while those in subordinate roles were more generous, suggesting that individuals vested with power often prioritize themselves over others. It's important to note that research results and experiments are often generalized, and it would be inaccurate to claim that power can corrupt anyone absolutely. While power can amplify egocentrism, its effects vary depending on an individual's personal qualities, level of empathy, and ability to consider long-term consequences. So, do you believe power is inherently corrupting, or can it be resisted? How can you determine if you're being influenced by others' opinions or imposed ideals? Humans are naturally inclined to seek power and status, a trait inherited from our primate ancestors where the alpha male held authority. In contemporary society, this drive is channeled into pursuits like career advancement, sports, or activism. However, if unchecked, the desire for dominance can lead to negative behaviors. Consider the Stanford Prison Experiment, a well-known psychological study where students assigned as guards quickly began acting like bullies, mistreating their fellow students who played the role of prisoners. While an extreme example, it illustrates how intoxicating power can be in the absence of self-awareness. The remedy lies in cultivating empathy and recognizing our shared humanity. True leaders don't assert power over others, they inspire and uplift them. They understand that real strength comes from uniting people, not dominating them. Each of us must examine our motives and egos. Are we genuinely seeking to improve the lives of others and society, or are we pursuing power and status for personal gain? It's a challenging question, but answering it honestly is crucial to avoiding becoming power-hungry. In conclusion, power has the potential to distort perspectives if not managed carefully. However, when wielded with wisdom and compassion, it can also be a force for good. The key is to remain humble, considerate, and use any influence we have to uplift others rather than ourselves. This is the path to becoming a true leader worth following.